What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin price chart, but more in particular, we're going to be talking about the altcoin market, which everyone is patiently waiting on to see if we can actually get a real breakout to happen over here in the altcoin market, as Bitcoin has been knocking on $44,000 door today. Now, if you caught this video that I put out a little bit over a month ago titled Bitcoin and Altcoins, Divergence to Explosion, how this Bitcoin price dynamic led to altcoin surges, we talked in high detail about the price behavior of what happened with Bitcoin and the altcoin market from back in 2020, which of course is what we're talking about a lot when we pull up this chart if you tune into the YouTube channel frequently. What we had happen back in August and September is everybody screaming for 12K. We actually had the exact same phenomenon happen back in 2020 where there was this big liquidation. Everybody is screaming, manipulation, manipulation, and then screaming that the price is going to go down to $3,000 to $4,000. It held in that $10,000 price level and then was surging off into the bull run, leaving all of those screaming for lower prices behind, just like we saw here for those looking for $23,000, $20,000, and of course, $12,000. Boom, off and away it goes. But then price really has just been behaving very similar to back then in 2020. But of course, the question is, when is the altcoin market going to catch up? If you tune into Twitter, you tune into x.com, you're going to be seeing a bunch of Bitcoiners screaming, Bitcoin is the only way, finite supply, rarer than gold. This is not a retrace. This is going to the absolute moon. And well, that whole discussion is up for debate, whether or not Bitcoin is going to the moon. But if we did assume that the price is acting a lot like it was back in 2020, the question is, well, what's going on with the altcoin market? Why is it lagging behind? And this is something that we did talk about over a month ago, that if this was our scenario, how did the altcoin market behave during that time period? And what we had shown was during that time period, when that big break came, we did see the altcoins rally up with that move, but then as Bitcoin kept grinding up, suddenly there became this divergence that happened over here in the altcoin market, pulling back as Bitcoin kept moving up. Bitcoin broke out, Bitcoin kept going, the altcoin market still just wasn't doing a whole lot here in relation to its previous highs over here, still struggling along over here as Bitcoin kept marching up. But then eventually, kind of all at once, boom, a big blow up happened here. I've talked about it many times, and a lot of people don't like to hear it, that Bitcoin is the influencer on whether or not your altcoin is going to go up. I've tried to prove that with data that the whole market does move together. But if there's something that you want to see happening first in the market, it is absolutely this. Seeing Bitcoin rally is historically a very good sign for the whole market. But how are we doing right now in relation to what we're talking about throughout all of this, a divergence happening here in these altcoins in similar moments like we're in right now compared to 2020? Well, as we can see right now, with us getting through this particular level, that's very similar to as if we're right back in here, back on November 17th of 2020. We'll look at the charts from this aspect to show what Bitcoin was doing here on November 17th of 2020. How high it had gotten, like we just discussed. It already reached up there, shooting right through the 2.618 of this range that it was in. That's where we are today as we get breaking through here, right through that 2.618. But what was going on with the altcoin market on that particular day? How were we doing here with, say, Total 3? As you can see here, Total 3 still had not taken out the peaks set over here, just trying to gradually grind through them right now, right as we had gotten to this point, but still no full-blown breakout had taken place yet. If you look at where we are right now, you can see things are very similar of this whole longer range dating back almost the entire year of 2023, but just now starting to kind of creep out of here as we were at that time. But then suddenly, really all at once, things started firing on all cylinders. So people look at the price action right now, and of course they're screaming Bitcoin, 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 because it's up 10% in the past week. It's up about 26% over the last 35 days. And while 26%, oh no, nothing will ever keep up with that. But what was really important about this particular time period back in 2020, getting through there, it was that the excitement to crypto was returning. And getting through that particular price point really started the triggering over the next several days for the market to really start rallying. If you remember back, this is like when we saw XRP do 250% in a matter of a week. A lot of altcoins doing big fat numbers during that time period. And just like we saw back then with it poking through the top of the range, that is what we're seeing happening over here right now. So a lot of people in markets in the morning saying, why aren't the altcoins going? Why aren't the altcoins going? And it's like, well, we talked about this exact dynamic happening at this particular price level over a month ago. But the thing that is exciting is it was right about now, right about here when Bitcoin got through this level. In the coming days after that is when things really started to take off for the rest of the altcoin market. And if you do look closely here on Total 3, what do we see? We see here in these last 2 days, this thing has poked higher than that previous level from back in the middle of November after sign of strengthening here sideways. It's like, oh no, I know you said we were going to do sign of strength and it would like go sideways and stuff, but is something wrong? No, it's totally normal. And this price dynamic is totally normal. And it should be extremely exciting to see that Bitcoin is doing this, because this is what we always have needed in the cryptocurrency market, is strength in Bitcoin. I've always said it. It doesn't matter if you hold Bitcoin or if you don't hold Bitcoin, to be an advocate and cheerleader for Bitcoin, because the history of all of cryptocurrency's price action has been dependent on the sky, always. But what was really exciting in 2020 is when we got right here. This was the marking spot. This was the location where things started ripping. If you look at things like XRP or you look at things like Ethereum, here is Bitcoin getting that break right there like we're talking about for today. You could see it was after this break, like a day or two later, there goes Ethereum, there goes XRP from this particular price level. But is the market behaving any differently today than it was back then? Nope, it's actually still acting exactly the same. But now the big question is that the marker? Was that the threshold that we needed to cross through for these things to finally get going? And what we've definitely noticed here in the last few days has been that Ethereum has been starting to get out. And even today, Ethereum has now set another high over here, just like it did the day prior, creeping its way out at the same timing as all of this was happening for Bitcoin and back in these scenarios back in here. So if the dynamics of this market remain the same, which they have up until this point, this is actually where things started to get really exciting in the market. So in the days to come, keep your eyes peeled to see if we can get ourselves going, because this was the triggering point where things really started to turn their way up. And I've always found this stuff to be incredibly fascinating. Most people think to themselves, it all has to move at the exact same time. But I've been a student of the markets for 6.5 years. I've tried to teach these things, whether that's in YouTube videos, newsletters, bcbacker.com videos. I've done dozens of videos here on the YouTube channel showing these dynamics and how they work between Bitcoin and between the altcoin market. And still, so many people still believe that all of this is one big flow. If Bitcoin goes up 2%, my altcoin needs to go up 2%. Not studying how everything happens, and that when these altcoins do end up moving, they end up moving a whole lot faster than Bitcoin does. But typically we see capital inflows happen into the market, and usually they come in the way of Bitcoin. Then the altcoin market not only catches up, but then surpasses Bitcoin. Many times we see the market move completely in tandem with Bitcoin, where all the moves are happening at the exact same time in each circumstance. But then there becomes some moments in time where these pivots happen and divergences happen. And when those divergences happen, that's where the emotions break. And that's what I was talking about in this video. And that one of those moments where those divergences can happen and people start to lose their mind can actually happen in here. And crazy enough, we have actually seen that same similar dynamic happen. But what's fascinating is it was right there. It was November 17th. It was that particular break at that particular level that in the following days, the altcoin market started the big whoosh. So we're here. Now it's time to keep our eyes open and let's go. So as we wrap this up, if you'd like to learn about the historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market, of course, that is included over here in my course on bcbacker.com. There's a whole section dedicated to historical behavior of the crypto market, diving into these dynamics with a couple of hours worth of content going through it all on how these ebbs and flows end up happening in the market. There's over 40 videos in here with over 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro, along with patterns, Wyckoff method, Elliott wave theory, like we said, historical behavior of the crypto market, and a lot of extra stuff that I've learned along the way, including a downloadable PDF file in here for many of these sections, and of course one like master file if you wanted to print it out and save it there to your PC. It's $39 one time, no subscription fees, no recurring fees over here on bcbacker.com. I do also write a newsletter over here on blockchainbacker.substack.com. We've been going through kind of a series over the last 3 newsletters, diving into data points for the altcoins for high performers of 2021 and things that they had in common, whether it was their circulating supply for their inflation for each individual coin, talking about their developer activity and how that impacted returns compared to whether or not you were just shopping in the top 20 over here on CoinMarketCap, and how you can find those resources for yourself to figure out what coins do have high development activity right now. And then we also studied, do percentage drawdowns in a bear market also impact returns, which we found some very interesting data to say the likelihood of going into new all-time highs did seem to be very correlated to percentage drawdowns. And we go through top 100 from 2018 to 21 to show how each individual coin did. And then we go through the numbers for all of the ones here from 2021 to 2023. So you can check that out over here on blockchainbacker.substack.com. Of course, you also get access to past newsletters, such as this one on developer data, inflation, and circulating supply, and all the ones from the past. There's links in the descriptions of all of my videos to bcbacker.com and to the newsletter on Substack at blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, guys, I hope that you're having a wonderful week, which you should be because the market is crushing it. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.